Steering here from the Adventure Channel. We are with two folks today that we're going to talk about World Bicycle Relief. Many of you may have heard about it. Many of you may not have heard about it. I knew a little bit, and once I started researching, I'm like, we got to sit down and talk about this. So we've got Eric Hune and we've got Dave Tuitt, and they are both members of the local chapter. And I believe, Eric, you were the founder. So tell us a little bit about how this whole thing started.
Yeah, so World Bicycle Relief is a worldwide organization. The founder of it actually is a gentleman named F.K. Day, who might sound familiar to some people because he also was the founder of SRAM, Bicycle Components. And he started World Bicycle Relief in 2005. I individually started to raise money on my own for World Bicycle Relief. I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago. A little shout out to Matt Schmucker, who organized a race, and part of that race benefited World Bicycle Relief, and that's how I learned about it. And I decided that I wanted to, ride for a little bit bigger of a purpose. So I started raising some money on my own, and after a couple of years, I was doing pretty well, and a lady by the name of Claire through World Bicycle Relief reached out and said, "Hey, how about you start your own little Michigan chapter of World Bicycle Relief?" Because there was one in Indiana at the time. So recruited a few buddies, and next thing you know, we were off and rolling, kind of with a similar mission of raising awareness for World Bicycle Relief, as well as raising money each year to support the charity.
Sure. Dave, you want to chime in on that? Otherwise, I got a couple quick questions.
Sure. No, I've been a member of the team racing with them for a couple of years, but I've known Eric and a bunch of the original guys for a long time up in the area. So, we'd love to talk more about it.
Sure. So for those watching, I highly recommend going over to the website. I believe it's just worldbicyclerelief.org, and check out what this is all about. We're going to talk about it a little bit today, but it's amazing how what's happening here is, I'll try to nutshell it. You guys are probably have to correct me on some of it, but what's happening here is the money's being raised and being sent to different third world countries, and there's a couple different that were initiated from a big storm. I guess that's how he started it, and then he tried to transfer it over. And these bikes are transforming these communities. What usually would take 2 to 4 hours to walk to work, to walk to school, these different places, the nurses and the doctors getting to the sick patients, just would take forever on foot for this to happen. Like you say, the founder there found a purpose, found a mission here, and the statistics are crazy. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about that? What's going on?
Yeah, so since 2005, World Bicycle Relief has donated close to 700,000 bikes to people in need of basically changing their transportation story. The YouTube video that I know you're going to make available talks about every person kind of has a transportation story, whether it be getting up in the morning and driving through rush hour traffic or getting on a train or a subway. But a lot of people throughout the world, their transportation story is just walking every single day and trying to beat the sun, getting to work, getting back home, taking care of their kids, just getting everything done. But meanwhile, they're walking 4, 5, 10 miles a day. So the purpose of the program was really to just kind of start to improve the transportation story for many people, especially people in East Africa. I know that the original plan was to really empower people in the healthcare field, also people in education as well. And after they started to realize the impact of these bikes, they started to focus more on the fact that these bikes were beneficial for girls especially. So in the educational field, 70% of the bikes are distributed to girls so they can continue to go to school and not be forced to stay home and do household duties. And then in the healthcare field, a lot of the bikes go to traveling nurses and doctors who might have to walk 10, 15 miles a day just to see patients. I know a lot of volunteers slowly fell out of some of these healthcare programs because the travel was too difficult until some of these bikes are distributed.
Sure. Some of these statistics here are just mind-boggling. When this started to happen, 28% a decrease in school absences, so there's 28% more kids making it to school, 88% more patients seen through healthcare, which makes sense, so doctors and nurses can get to them sooner. 23% more farmer income, then that's the other thing I read and noticed that, yes, it's a big relief thing and it's donations and it's charity, but then I'm reading and found out that they're helping businesses start too. These companies that are maintaining the bikes, these companies that are doing all these different things. Tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's not just giving somebody something and then you're their savior. You're actually setting up an entire industry. You are shipping the bikes to the local community in various parts. And then the bikes are assembled by trained mechanics who are trained through this program, mechanics who have tools that are purchased from the World Bicycle Relief Program. Matter of fact, I think it's, can't remember the donation price. I think it is $50 actually funds a mechanic's training tools. So the mechanic is trained on how to assemble them, how to maintain them. And then the bikes are distributed. People are identified who are in need, and the bikes are distributed that way. And then the bikes aren't just given and then they're forgot about. They're maintained. Also, after 2 years, if the person is using the bike the way it's supposed to be used, the bike becomes theirs.
I did read that. Something about a student who stays in the curriculum and passes, or I don't know, not passes, but probably high attendance.
Correct.
Wow. I mean, that is amazing. I don't know. I think we've got it set up to where you can see, but these, they call them the Buffalo.
Yeah, the Buffalo bike it's not a bike that you're going to see here. Matter of fact, you can't even really get one here in the United States. I have an original version.
Race that at Iceman.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I shouldn't say that.
We actually do have an original.
Okay.
It's slightly different than that. And one of our earlier teammates from a few years ago raced it in the shorter version of Barry Rebay.
Okay.
He put some clipless pedals on it and he rode it. And it's tough because it's about a 50-pound bike.
Okay.
But it's designed to be rugged. It's designed to withstand some of the rugged conditions. Some of the countries where the bikes are distributed, Colombia in South America, but the rest of them are mainly in East Africa. Kenya, Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe are the nations that we work with right now. But I think they're always searching for new markets and new people to team up with.
I just thought of a great idea to put you guys on spot on the camera. You should have your team. I was joking about the Iceman thing. Yeah. You guys should race Iceman on some Buffaloes and make it a big fundraiser.
Well, we would, but like I said,
hard to get them.
We can't even get.
Okay.
I mean, they don't distribute them here.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, at the World Bicycle Relief corporate office in Chicago, they have one.
Okay.
I mean, they have one on display and to use. So
Sure.
I surely would. I actually, like I said, have an original one. I drove to Chicago and purchased it from a photographer who was given the bike for doing a World Bicycle Relief photo shoot. But it's the original one. It was more designed for a larger rider. The newer bikes have more of a bent top tube, designed more for girls.
Sure.
And there's some other subtle changes as well.
We actually did a fundraiser 2 years ago where we had one at Camsburg ski area.
Okay.
And people would pay, or
Yeah,
I think
they just donate.
They would
Donate
donate,
money.
and then whoever could go as far up the ski hill without tipping over.
So we did that on one of the
was
Taco
contest.
Tuesday nights, and it
And
was
that
good.
is not a light bike. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah, we'll throw some pictures up because I'm not sure if you can see that behind us. We'll throw some pictures up here on the screen so you can check it out. And even some screenshots from the website here with all the statistics on it. But have you guys had a chance? I mean, it's even just the brief little research I did. My eyes were opening up, and you guys have been doing this for a while. Have you got to see some like literal, like when your donations go in? Have you been able to see talk to some of the locals that it affected, or? That's probably hard to do. That's right.
Yeah, since most of it's in East Africa, that's difficult. But they do have an impact study each year. I mean, World Bicycle Relief at the end of the year says this is how many bikes were donated, and this is the impact these bikes made. Sure. So it's concrete proof. And then on their website, there are numerous examples of people who who received these bikes and how their lives were changed. Everything from a girl going to school to a doctor traveling in rural Africa. There's tons of countless videos like that.
Sure.
And I've been in Africa a couple times. Was not able to make it work because we were coming out of the COVID the last time I was there. But this is real when you think about the villages in these places. I mean, basic access to water, to a well is, a major project to get that. And it's a big win for the village. And this time in particular, I'd been part of World Bike Relief the last time I went to Africa. And I just looked at all these villages and saw how they transport. And there's a lot of walking, which they're used to.
Sure.
But then you see the efficiency of, somebody has a motorbike or somebody has a bicycle.
Sure.
And then they're able to go to the town to get stores or things. And, it's real as far as the impact that extra little transportation.
Sure. Yeah, the fact that we use them for fitness and recreation, and here it is. There's times where we take it for granted, and just looking at like I say, watching that video, and like, oh yeah, it makes sense. How much time you could save. That's actually why I'm not a runner, because I can see so much more ground on a bike. Right. Why run 3 miles when you can bike 15?
Exactly.
So.
You see more and it's more badass is what I always say.
Yes, exactly. So let's talk about what the dollar amounts get. I saw that on the website. Go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, so a donation of $165 will purchase a Buffalo bike, an entire bicycle. If you think about that cost compared to what some of us spend, hopefully my wife doesn't watch this.
My wife, I spent $185 on mine.
Okay,
that's good. Yeah.
So
just a few more zeros behind. Right? Yeah.
You guys
depends on the number of zeros. Right.
So if you think about what we spend on our bikes, on our components, on our wheels, and stuff, we're always trying to shave weight or get the latest and greatest. $165 will buy an entire bike that is built to be functional and built to last. So that's impressive right there alone. $50 donation funds a mechanics training kit. These mechanics will now have the tools and have the training necessary to maintain and assemble the bikes. And $25 actually will get you a new wheel set for the bike. If the bike has some sort of damage to a wheel or something goes wrong that way, it's just $25 for a whole new wheel set.
That's not a carbon fiber wheel set,
No,
Mark, just to be clear.
okay,
No,
okay.
it's a little sturdier.
Okay.
Yeah, a little more durable. Yeah.
I should go to those wheels if they're sturdy.
You should, right.
I break
Might be
spokes
good
all
for
the
you.
time. Yeah. So that's actually how we last. I saw your post, and I'm like, absolutely, donate, $165 to a bike, and so it's real inexpensive. It's life changing. It looks like you can do a monthly, a $25 a month.
Yeah, there's that option as well. But let me stop you and
Sure.
first say thank you very much for.
Oh.
I mean, we didn't hardly know each other, and I just reached out and shared this link to donate during our initiative here at the beginning of December, and you just donated an entire bike. What you do for the West Michigan biking community is huge.
You're gonna embarrass me here.
There's a lot of people who you don't even know that watch your programs, that have kind of been drawn to the adventure team and the daring team. So you're doing a lot for cycling in West Michigan, and we thank you for supporting our program.
Wow, did not expect this, guys. I'm all getting like all chills. And stuff. Thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, I'm passionate about it, as you guys all know. Utilizing this platform that we've been blessed with, to pass along and bless other things, and it's just cool to watch it all work, And so I don't look at it that way. I'm just passionate about it. But thank you, and it's cool to be used, to help other people. So,
Amen. Yeah.
So cool. So
should we talk about this time of the year as far as?
Yeah. So normally, starting on Giving Tuesday, which is the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving, it's usually the big push for World Bicycle Relief to basically gain as much donations as possible. Another cool thing about this period is that usually donations are matched. So, for example, Trek has agreed to match all donations up to, I can't remember, $250,000. I can't remember what the dollar amount, but
Okay.
so a donation made between Giving Tuesday at the end of November and all the way through December 31st, donations are matched. So your donation of one bike actually is responsible for 2 bikes. So
Awesome.
there'll be 2 people whose transportation stories will be changed because of that donation. So
Awesome.
there's multiple ways to donate. You can go on the regular World Bicycle Relief site and donate. But we also have our individual fundraising page for our team, our World Bicycle Relief Michigan. If you're interested in anyone interested in donating can reach out to one of us and we can send you that link as well. We kind of get credit for our grassroots effort. For example, I think since World Bicycle Relief Michigan started, we've raised 212 bikes and close to $35,000. So
Wow.
that's pretty good for just a little small grassroots Michigan team. We have 7 guys on our team. I wanted to mention them. The Darter Bros, Jeff and Rusty,
Yeah.
Dan Freyer, and Jacob Marshall. They're our single speed extraordinaires.
Okay.
And we have
Single speed's a different breed.
Yeah.
They are. Well, yeah.
And we have Dave Tewitt.
And I rode a single speed this weekend for 38 miles, so I might be that cool.
Whoa.
Now. So, yeah.
Whoa.
And we have
trying.
our newest member is Mark Andersma, and he just joined us shortly after Iceman. And then I'm Eric Hune, and there's 7 of us. So.
That's awesome. That is so cool that you guys are doing that. And yeah, absolutely. Reach out. Is it on your Facebook page?
So we have a Facebook page, Team World Bicycle Relief Michigan. We have an Instagram page as well.
Okay.
And you can also just send us a message, send any one of us, and we can send you the link that
Sure.
way. Now, the reason why we're not going to share the link is because our team fundraising platform is being moved to a different software in mid-January. So I don't want to push a website that is going to then be changing, but
Sure.
it's not going to change until mid-January. But from now on through December 31st, all donations are matched if anyone is moved to donate.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And if you guys have to reach out to me or comment below, these guys will be watching the comments on YouTube so they can connect with you. But yeah, I mean, it's so cool to watch, and those little thermometers, going up, and it would be really cool if there's a way you guys can coordinate this or something. It'd be really cool to have one of the bike mechanics or somebody over there somehow like get us something that'd be kind of cool, like. Hey, these are from Michigan. This is the Michigan load that showed up, or whatever. That'd be kind of fun.
Cool
Yeah.
to do.
So,
We also have thrown around the idea in 2024 for a fundraising idea to organize our own race in West Michigan. I know the race calendar is pretty full, so this coming summer we're going to try to identify a date, and we have a pretty good idea for a unique format for a race. Just throwing the teaser out there that we would like to do a 2-part race, part mountain bike, part gravel. You can do it solo, use 2 different bikes if you'd like. You could do it with a teammate. One person does a relay, one person does the mountain bike, and then passes it off to you for the gravel portion. So
That's cool.
Look for that in 2024. That will benefit World Bicycle Relief. That's what we're hoping to do. But we got to, like I said, identify a good date right now. I mean,
Sure.
the calendar's so full with the gravel races and
Sure.
summer calendar. So
I know a good location. We
Yeah,
can
okay.
talk later.
Okay.
But yeah, that's really cool too. That is something that people, there's been. I actually thought about that up in that area where we've got, up by Hardy by the Dragon, beautiful gravel roads up there. You've got
Okay.
let's
Good
talk.
idea. Yeah.
So what else we've got? So is there anywhere, like, is fundraisers coming up? So basically the match thing's going on for another few weeks. And what about folks who want to, is there a way for folks to volunteer with time, not money? Sometimes there's people who volunteer with time or getting the word out, help you get the word out.
We pass a lot of these stickers out right here. So if you ever want a sticker for your car, just reach out to us. We have a stack of them. I think our mission as a small team is usually 2 things. It's raise awareness and to raise money. At the gas station the other day, I have a sticker on my car. Someone pulled up and said, "Tell me about World Bicycle Relief." So I just shared the story. I don't know if that person then went on any further and looked, but maybe that person would donate. So I think it would be more just to do a little research, click a link, just read it, check it out.
Yep.
Educate yourself, and if it's something you feel moved to participate in, we would love that help and support. We're just 7 guys who love riding and love racing, and we
Sure.
decided to kind of race for a little bit bigger purpose. But there's nothing that we need as a group other than just the support of
Sure.
the organization.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's cool. You know, you're a big part of the community, as Eric said, and the community we have is great. I mean, the Rockford Bike Shop is a real strong supporter of our team and how we race. But the founders team called us this past week and said, hey, we had a little extra money in our fund. Can we donate to the
Perfect.
World Bike Relief? And so got all this whole community is great together, and we all support each other.
Yeah,
So
there's
it's
just these
pretty
little
cool.
connections that are made. I mean, there's people who reach out to me every year and say, hey, is it time to give yet? Because sometimes I even hold people off towards the end of the year when the donations are
Double,
matched.
yeah.
So I mean, people like, I don't know if you know, Matt Graves is a cyclist who has been one of the earliest supporters. I don't know if there's been a year that he hasn't donated.
Okay.
So I mean, relatives. My mother-in-law has been extremely giving.
Sure.
And you would never know it because she doesn't put her name on there. But every year she'll donate at least 1, maybe 2 bikes a year, just because she wants to support our group. So
Yep, support the group, which supports the mission, the whole thing. Yeah, it's so cool. The years back, I've been mountain biking for about 12 years, and about 6 years ago, the first 6 years, I just was biking, enjoying it and whatever, and then I found out about the local chapters and trail maintenance, and then I started finding out about the dirt dogs, and that there's this, all this type of thing. And there's this helmet fund out in, I'm not gonna remember the name of it, but there's a company that does helmets for local kids. And so once you start digging in and realizing, hey, there's this passion that we all love, that we get our fitness out of, we got our camaraderie out of, and then we can do something with it, it gets pretty exciting.
Right.
It's
Yep.
like, holy cow. Like you said, even this videos, I mean, hopefully if a couple people find these entertaining, pop them on the background and just listen to what is going on in the West Michigan, cycling arena. And we have a, we're not quite Bentonville yet, but we have quite the community. Around us.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, we live in Rockford, and that's kind of why we live in Rockford, was because of cycling. I mean, I drive 40 minutes to work every day. Why? Because I like where I live.
So my wife's going to be back here in about half an hour. You guys need to tell her how cool
Yeah.
Rockford
Yeah,
is.
right.
I've been trying for
Yeah.
3 years,
Yeah.
and I'm a real estate agent.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
She loves her 8 acres. I don't blame her. This is fun out here. But yeah, I drive all the time to Rockford, and I've been wanting to move there for quite a while. So that is quite the nice area too.
Yeah, and West Michigan does have, I mean, a lot of groups and a lot of teams. And I think our team, we purposely aren't really connected with a bike shop. We support the bike shops, but we just try to branch out as much as possible because, I mean, raising awareness is one of our 2 goals. So if we can branch out and be friends with the founders guys, the freewheeler guys,
Even the rad guys.
even the rad guys.
Yeah, even the rag
Yeah,
guys.
even the rad
Yeah,
guys. We're
okay.
friends with them. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all the teams have been supportive. Like I said, Matt Schmucker and Team Apex and now your team. So it's just, if we can connect with teams like that and just build relationships, then I think in the long run, World Bicycle Relief will benefit.
Absolutely. So if there's any closing comments on World Bicycle Relief, or you guys want to talk about some West Michigan cycling stuff that's going on?
I don't know.
You know bikers, Mark. We could talk for 3 more hours tonight. Lots of stories.
Yeah.
I think for our team, Eric has been a great leader and founder of this, and we all admire and respect him, and it's been great to join him. But he kind of said, hey, we're a team of racers. Like, we all race, and we've all been fortunate to have our own moments. Even the old guy in the team.
Oh boy,
there goes my phone. It's great to mix it up and wear the World Bike Relief colors and raise that awareness
Yes.
while we're out there.
Yeah.
So that's part of what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we're just a small little West Michigan team, but I mean, There's been pro riders who raise awareness and money for World Bicycle Relief. Lachlan Morton.
Yes, you were starting to talk about that. And like I say, I
Dave.
watched the tour, but don't know all the names. So
Explain that, Dave.
Yeah, so most of you who follow cycling know that a few years ago, instead of riding the Tour de France, Lachlan Morton did his own alt tour and rode the entire route, including all the connection points. So, the real racers would take the train from, somewhere to Paris or something. He actually rode
getting
it.
a massage.
Yeah,
and
and that whole alt tour he did, and he just actually has a little book he did about it, was to raise money for World Bike Relief.
okay.
So he raised quite a bit of money in that period. But
I think you guys got
he's
him next year.
yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Yep. And then Rebecca Rush, who has her own race, Private Idaho. She's a World Bicycle Relief athlete as well. And so, I mean, there's the big stage, and then there's West Michigan stage. And I mean, ultimately, it's just trying to raise awareness.
A little trivia. We're kind of on the same team as Lachlan Morton. We're not
Okay.
there. But I was actually in Colorado during 20. My daughter had a wedding that she was going to out there. So we rented a place, and I had a couple awesome rides. Well, the first day I sketched out my own gravel ride out there. It was Netherland, Colorado. First thing I did, I found this way back dirt road, and all of a sudden I ran into a moose.
Okay.
And then I was riding home up this hill. All of a sudden I hear this noise behind me, and out of nowhere, a rider came up behind me, and I look. I'm like, this was right after he did the Everesting thing. It was Lachlan Morton. I turned around and said, "Hey." He said, "Hey." I said, "Are you Lachlan?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Hey, good job on the Everesting."
Did you?
And so we chatted for a little bit, and I said, "Yeah, gonna get back to racing now, hopefully in August." And he said, "I'm going in here," and he headed off. But I did meet Lachlan Morton on the road.
That
so,
is cool. That is
Little
cool.
story.
Little encounter.
Yeah,
Encounter.
yeah.
That's the cycling community. Back to that, the pros like that. My only I guess correlation to that would be like up at Iceman. Talking to these pros that they'd walk in right now, shoot the breeze with you.
Yeah.
Just how inspiring they are and how driven they are and how passionate they are. And then how personable they are. Alexi I always get his last name. Vermeulen mixed up. But I mean, he would sit here like no big deal, and he's a world class athlete. And that, I think there's something to be said about that. I think the ones that make it that far and do that well, they have to be that way, and that's why they are able to go that far. You know, and then to use that ability for a purpose, that's just double fold awesome. So well, cool. So that kind of wraps up a little bit of the World Bicycle Relief. Stick around for a little bit if you want us to hear us chatter a little bit more about some of the West Michigan biking and stuff like that. Maybe we'll spend a little bit of time on that. But we'll get you the website, the Michigan chapter of the website. Just because it'd be kind of cool to see you guys get credit, so try to get the Michigan chapter and watch for other opportunities. I like the idea of, I'll come up, brainstorm some other ideas with you where we could help, raise we do all kinds of group events. So maybe one of them could be a fundraiser for that,
That'd be awesome.
And even if somebody pitched in $5, whatever. And
Well, the cool thing is for $160, you're changing somebody's life. I mean, it's a small little thing and it's direct. It's a really cool deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey folks, Mark Deering here from the Adventure Channel. Just wanted to formally introduce myself in case you haven't seen me without the helmet on and the full kit. Amy and I, my wife, are adventurers. We are loving what we're doing and meeting the community and doing all kinds of fun things. My day job, my real job is real estate. So just wanted to let you guys know that if you have any real estate questions, if you're looking to move near the trails, if you're looking to move out of state, any of those types of things, we help hundreds of different mountain biking and adventure families find their base camp to live at. So we want to do the same with you. We couldn't do this without you guys, and we love working with folks that have the same passion as us. So jumping over to West Michigan cycling, what you guys just did some giant races in the last couple of years. I mean, we got Leadville race, we got Steamboat, we got some other stuff. Let's talk about that a little bit. You can humbly brag about some of this.
So we all are always looking for those adventures, all about adventures. So, I personally been a long time cyclist. I think I was inspired by Eddie Merckx's sports card that I bought. Like, who is this guy? And then some of the old timers may remember Worldwide of Sports was a 1-hour show, and they showed 2 hours of the Tour de France on Successive Saturdays.
Okay.
And that's how I learned about Greg LeMond winning the Tour de France. I got inspired by that.
Sure.
And then, so I was always a cyclist. And then when I moved up to Rockford, obviously it's biking heaven in our view, and did a lot of long rides and stuff, but started racing seriously about 2015 because I was working a lot and getting out of shape and eating, candy bars and Cokes for dinner while I was working late. It's like, no, this has to change. So
Sure.
signed up for Lumberjack. Said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
There you go.
And
That's your first race?
it was my first really serious. I had done a little bit of Iceman stuff,
Okay.
but not much else.
Okay.
And not hard Iceman stuff. So I signed up for it. Had a great race, although my derailleur broke 9 miles from the end. So, but since then I've been loving the endurance stuff as well as
Sure.
the short gravel stuff. So did Leadville once, was supposed to do it again, broke a foot 2 days before, and then COVID hit. But we all did, as Eric, I don't know if Eric mentioned, we our whole team pretty much at the time 2 years ago did the Leadville stage race.
Okay.
And a few of them went back and did Leadville. I decided to opt out and do Steamboat this year, the following Saturday. But there are a bunch of us who are out in Colorado this year
Okay.
doing that as kind of one of our primary objectives. But you'll
Sure.
definitely find us on the local gravel series. And
Yeah.
we had a great end of the year on Iceman as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. My first race ever was Iceman, and it was back when you could mail in your registration.
What year was that?
It was 15, 16 years ago or so.
Okay.
I showed up I drove from home Saturday morning, drove up to the start line. They delayed the race, I think, a little bit because of snow. Pro started at the front.
Oh.
We all started in mass start. I got to Anita's Hill. Oh, by the way, I was wearing baggy shorts and an Asics running jacket, and it was my first time using clipless pedals.
If you have a picture, send it. We're putting it on here.
First time
should
using
have a
clipless
picture.
pedals, so I get to Anita's Hill. I got halfway up and cramped and just tipped over. Luckily, some spectator helped me unclip, stretched out my cramps, and then I said, I'm never doing this race again. Flash forward 2 years later, I signed up for it. And then a few years after that, signed up for Lumberjack. I'm excited because this Lumberjack coming up will be my 10th. So
Nice.
get an opportunity, hopefully,
Ooh, the saw.
hopefully to get a saw. That'd be nice. That is something that I didn't really think about until about 2 or 3 years ago. So Lumberjack's one of my favorite races of the year.
It is cool.
That
I was one and done, but it was cool.
yeah, I'm going
it's-
back at it next year.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think 4 or 5 of us are going to race Lumberjack
Okay.
this year. I'm also lucky that I have a wife who supports, or at least tolerates my biking habit. We take usually a summer vacation revolved.
Say support. Sounds better.
We take a summer vacation revolved around a bike race almost every year.
Okay.
She calls them racecations.
Okay.
We've done, and usually they're endurance races. North Carolina, Maine,
What's
Wyoming.
the race? What's the race that you go to?
They're all different
you
every
do
year. We pick a
it.
different state,
I gotcha.
a different major race. So like the one in Maine was the Carabasset Backcountry Challenge.
Okay.
The one I did Pierre's Hole in Wyoming. Did Leadville.
Are these all gravel races? Or
These are mountain bike races.
Mountain bike
Yep.
races.
Yeah. So normally endurance mountain bike racing, but
ultra endurance? Like when like 100 mile.
100 miles,
Okay.
yeah. Usually 60 to 100 mile races. The Laramie Enduro, it wasn't really an enduro, but they called it enduro for some reason, was a 2-lap 64-mile race. I think there was 8,000 or 9,000 feet of climbing.
Okay.
So
I would love to get this list.
Yeah.
'Cause, there's a bunch of us that on my team, we're always looking for that adventures. We're always looking for that next thing. What we can try. And by the way, we are spoiled with Michigan. I mean, the races we keep mentioning, Lumberjack, Barry, Iceman. I mean, these are nationwide, recognized races, and it brings in everybody. But what you're describing, I want to start learning some of that.
Yeah.
We travel, you take the RV out, and I want to hit some of those other races. I think it's kind of funny I think that I want to do a shorter stage race. Like there's one called Crank the Shield up
Yep.
in the Sioux. Have any you guys?
Yeah, I've heard of that one. I guess last year, did you follow what happened last year? They got quite a bit of rain
Okay.
to the point where a big portion of the race was underwater. So they either had to reroute it or people were biking through knee-deep water. I guess the weather was a huge obstacle this year, but I've heard good things about the race. And maybe it was just a fluke thing, but
I heard they do have trouble here and there. Like it's either they have a really good marketing team and they make the videos look really cool, but it does seem like it goes hot and cold,
Mhm.
and then they we're gonna ramp it back up next year. You know, I don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
but I like the theory of the elevation, 30 miles, 40 miles a day, 3 days in a row. I like it that it's 3 days versus 5 or 7.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I think the one in North Carolina or in Pisgah area, that's 5 days.
Yes,
right?
yep. Yeah, and the Transylvania
Yes.
Epic has a stage race. The Leadville stage race is 3 days, but the challenge there is the elevation.
12,000.
You are at just over 12,000 at the highest point of the race, but the town itself is at 10.2
Mhm.
where the race starts.
We went and spectated that one year. Casey Haig was racing it. Who else? Mike Ortega and a couple of our buddies. And so short story on that. Casey, I was down there with Casey, and I opted to be his mechanic, his cooler guy, his everything, right? Well, as you guys know, when you park for something like that and you go to right before the big climb,
Yep. Twin Lakes.
Yes.
Nice big combine.
you have like a 3-mile walk to get to where the tents are. It feels like I don't know how far it is.
Yeah.
And you can just see up there, I'm carrying a cooler, I'm carrying a bike pump, I'm carrying all this crap. And this happened to me twice. And I get up there, he pulls in, hey Casey, what do you need? Oh, I'm good. This takes, I'm like, and by the second time, I'm like, no, you're taking something. I'm pumping this tire up. Because it was cool. It's just, as you guys know too, just lumberjacks like that too. A lot of times we have a few team members doing it, and then there's 5 or 6 of us that go and just pit. Just the sitting in the pits is almost as tiring and as fun.
The scene on those races, like I went this summer, I went to Leadville with my teammates, the Darters. We started Steamboat Road around there. And by the way, that gravel, if you like Michigan gravel races, that gravel out there is amazing. But then we went to Leadville to as they moved over there, I went with them ride for a couple of days. I left Leadville kind of like almost teary-eyed. Just like, man, maybe I should have done Leadville this year because the scene is so amazing.
Yes.
On those sorts of things.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we were that same trip that we were out there helping Casey. We went and did a friend of ours, Steve, said, hey, let's go hike Mount Albert. And I was newer to hiking and never done something like that.
Yeah, it's a big dog.
I showed up, in like warm up pants and like 2 bottles of these, and
Yeah.
I got that was
It's a 14er,
yeah,
that's real stuff.
elevation.
Yeah.
I got elevation.
I think this
This battery's low.
I got you.
but it might still be recording. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep, we're still
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I
So
think I-
what's the highest you've ridden up to? That's a question for you. We're going to
Ridden?
review you. Yeah.
Ridden. So I did go. That's a great question. I don't know the answer to, but some of my favorite riding would have been like a Crested Butte, Monarch Crest in Colorado.
Mhm.
So wherever that height is probably my highest.
Okay.
That was amazing. I can't wait to go back there. Rented bikes, came back, bought bikes that full suspension, and now we've got, which isn't here. Now we have our out-of-state bikes.
Yeah.
You start going places like that. It's nice to have that out-of-state bike. But actually, all those places you're mentioning or races you're mentioning. Brian Zajac, do you know him?
I've heard the name.
He and another couple guys are gonna do the same style setup, and we're gonna talk about destinations. Just different bike destinations.
Yep.
And so invite you guys back because knowledge is power, right? Like this, even just you can search the internet all you want and get somewhere, but just that word to word, voice to voice, like, oh, you gotta try this, And the races you mentioned, you think you'd be able to find them all. We try to put even just the Michigan races on our calendar for our website, and that's a chore in itself when you start adding Wisconsin. I heard there's a really good Iceman Lake race in Wisconsin,
Chiquaman.
Yeah.
That's popular.
Yeah, that's part of the Grand Prix series that a lot of the professional
Yep.
racers
Yeah.
take part in.
Lutzen 99.
Yeah, I've done Lutzen
We did
a
that
couple
last-
times. We did it this past spring. It's good. I describe that as like 100-mile over shore.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
description.
it's very similar terrain. They changed the course this year, a little more climbing, which wasn't so good for me, but I've had some
What
good
about that
races
first
there. It's a
climb?
lot of fun.
Yeah.
I went up that one like I was doing an FTP test. And
You were?
the darters are climbers, and I hung with them on the first climb. I don't know how that happened. The rest of the day I was paying for that one.
Yeah. Rubbed all your matches
It's
on.
fun. Yeah, that's a fun one though. It's pretty.
I would like to go back there too.
Yeah.
And I heard passing through Duluth that there's some
The
epic
Duluth
trails.
Traverse. So I've got a friend that does site selection for it. Used to be Target, now Best Buy. He's a geography guy, and so he lives in the Twin Cities. But we did the Duluth Traverse,
Okay.
which we actually had a hotel in the middle of Duluth, and then we took like an Uber to the start of it, and then we did a couple days of traveling. And I know there's other people. I think I know Scott Tenkate's
Yeah.
done it maybe with Acker or somebody, but it's really cool because there's great mountain biking there that you can basically go across that town for 3 days,
Okay.
see Lake Michigan or Lake Superior, sorry. And there's technical stuff. There's just amazing woods. You go through a ski area, so some technical mountain biking. It's a really cool thing.
Dang, you see? I
Yeah.
mean, there's so much.
That'd be a lot of fun for people.
Yeah.
And Duluth is a great town too. It's a college town.
Yep. That looks.
There's beer there.
There's beer.
There's beer there
breweries.
too. Yeah.
That's a whole nother segment we have to do about
Yeah.
breweries. Where's the best?
That might be a whole year long
Yes,
long podcast.
Yeah. So have you been down? You guys have been down to Brevard and Asheville and all that.
There.
Yep. We're going there for the second or third time in this March. We do our March
Okay.
Leave Michigan trip. Try to get some open to others if you guys are interested.
I actually our business has some businesses down there, so I might look that up. It'd be
Sure.
a business trip.
There you
Mark.
go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
It's a lot of fun.
last year we did Bentonville, and we always try to pick when it's going to be 55, 60 during the day. We had 3 inches of snow.
Oh, yeah.
That's when that big snow belt came through last March, and but that makes it that much more adventure. We just cruised around town. Everything's shut down. When you have an area like that,
They don't know.
they don't know what to do. Everybody's shut down. Like, okay, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, we could keep chattering, and we will keep chattering on other podcasts. But thanks for tuning in. If you stayed this long, you are a diehard. Thank you. And thanks again, guys.
Thank you, Mark.
Awesome,
Right, thanks,
awesome
Mark.
mission, awesome goal, passion, and glad to contribute. And I want to continue to contribute in different ways that we can.
We really appreciate it.
Thank
Sounds
you.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Appreciate it.
Yes, good stuff. Good job, guys. Good
That was
job.
good.
Woo! How long did you talk?
I was nervous.